All right, welcome everybody to the tournament in Ningbo, the 500 event that's going on. A very important match. This is a huge match for the WTA. It is possibly one that defines who makes the WTA finals in a few weeks. So that's why we have to watch it. We have to see how it goes because both these ladies could make the WTA finals and kick out Andreeva. But it kind of feels like the winner of this the winner of this is going to be in a good position to get through. And the person who loses is going to have a lot of work to do next week. Because both these ladies are playing in Tokyo next week as well. And it's funny because Andreeva is not playing next week. But she could still play in the week after and play in Hong Kong or something like that. If she really, really needs the extra couple of 100 points. But yeah, I'm a little shocked that that Andreeva decided not to play Tokyo. At least not. She could have got a wild card, but yeah, she did not. Just for the, I guess, just for the reassurance, like just to 100% get into the WTA finals. But she's not playing, so maybe she's confident that she will get in either way. But currently, looking at the race of the finals, Paolini, if she wins the tournament, she qualifies. If Rybakina wins the tournament, she doesn't qualify, but she's right behind Andreeva when it comes to. In fact, if Rybakina wins this tournament, she'll be 20 points behind Paolini and 15 points behind Andreeva, which is crazy. Like there's like 20 points with 2 spots, 3 players up, going for it. So Rybakina winning makes this way more interesting. If Rybakina loses this match, she's going to have to probably win next week in Tokyo to do anything. And maybe that's why Andreeva's not playing next week, just because she thinks that Rybakina is not going to win this match, but she is the favorite. So, and if Paolini does win this match, that is a massive help for Andreeva. So, yeah, it's the WTA finals, like a couple of last spots are getting really interesting. Also, apparently Djokovic qualified for the ATP finals, but he hasn't confirmed if he's playing or not. So we will wait to see if he actually competes. But he has qualified, which is fun. If he wants to play, he can. If she loses to Paolini, all she needs is a final in Tokyo. Okay. And that's if Andreeva doesn't play the final week, because she might play that final week. Because the final week is still got three tournaments. One in Hong Kong, one in China, and then one in India. These 2 ladies are not playing in those events, so they're sort of, I guess, putting it all down to next week. But there's always wild cards. There's wild cards up for grabs. If anybody wants to needs the extra couple 100 points, they could get a wild card, try their luck. But yeah. But here we go. Rybakina walking out first, and then Paolini. Huge matchup. Top 10 clash. 9 versus, what is it in the rankings? 9 versus 8 in the rankings, so it's a pretty big deal. Winner of this could play either Andreeva Alexandrova or Schneider. Alexandrova, by the way, is out of the race of the finals, but is number 10 in the world and could still become an alternate if she does qualify. So, and you do get, I think you get paid for being an alternate. So, she should be the alternate because I don't think Towson can overtake her and take her spot. But yeah, Alexandrova. I mean, she could. We know that players do come in and play as the alternate. So if Alexandrova is there, she might get a match, depending on what happens with players and injuries. Alcaraz plays in like 9 hours. No, like 10 hours, like 12 hours. He's playing tomorrow morning, Australia time. Point system is a little confusing. Is it though? Just look at the live rankings. It makes it so much easier. Live rankings make things so much easier. Paolini match last night was unbelievable. how she came back and won, I don't know. Say Paolini? Oh, against Bencic, yeah. Yeah, the first 2 sets were crazy. And then it's on the other hand, Rybakina just demolished Tomanovic. So, yeah. And Schneider's getting into this form. This time last year, Schneider was doing the same thing. She was winning tournaments at this point. So, yeah, Schneider seems to play really well at the end of the year so far. Tokyo's the last week for qualification? Really? Are you sure? How do you know that? Why are there tournaments after Tokyo then? Do they count? They should count though. What? So what? So those 250s at the end of the year, nobody doesn't matter. Where have you read this so I can confirm? Next week's the last week of qualification. Really? So wait, so then the 250s don't count. WTA final starts when the 250s go. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay, I know what you're saying. So you're saying that the finals of those 250s is day one of the WTA finals because WTA final starts on a Saturday. That's what you're saying, I am. That makes sense. Hey, there's a dog. Somebody brought their dog. Oh, that's nice. Why? You bring a dog to the to get a photo. Yeah, okay. So I know what you're saying. Yep. Interesting. So Hong Kong, Jiangxi and Chennai are not like they can't play because the WTA finals starts when those tournaments end. So it wouldn't make any sense playing those events. That makes sense. Because, yeah, the 1st of November is when the WTA finals starts, and that's on Saturday. That's on Saturday. That's on a Saturday, yeah. It's during the Paris finals, so we're going to have a fun time that week. Is that because don't they have like a day off in the middle of the tournament? Remember how last year they did that? They started on Saturday and they finished on the following Sunday, but there was a day off. Was it the day off in the Friday before the semis? Was that what happened last year? I'm pretty sure, right? The Friday was nothing, and then they did Saturday, Sunday finals, right? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Friday is like a religious day. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, Friday in Saudi Arabia is a day of religious significance, as it is a holy day of the week for Muslims. There you go. So that's why it marks the second day of official. Okay. Because Sunday to Thursday is the work week in Saudi Arabia. And then Friday, Saturday is the weekend. But Friday's the Sunday for Christians, I guess, and Catholics. Hey, what's going on, Abbas? How you doing? Rybakina winning match in straight sets, yeah. So that changed. Okay, now that we know that week doesn't matter, the last week doesn't matter, that means that next week, Andreeva's left it up to fate because and that's crazy. That's a crazy move. Like maybe she knows like something that we don't. Like, is Keys not playing? Is that why she's so confident? She's like, well, I'm gonna get in because somebody's not gonna play. Like, because we haven't seen Keys for a while. That's crazy though. Like, that's a crazy move to be like not qualified and you could qualify if you just played next week, but to leave it up to chance is insane. But then again, she might know something that we don't. Because she might know that Keys is not playing or something, and then she knows, well, even if I don't get in the top 8, I can still be number 9 and play, right? Or she's just super confident that Paolini is going to beat Rybakina. But that is so risky. Keys is not confirmed to play. Maybe she's banking on that. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? Because Keys hasn't played for a while, but Yeah, or she just doesn't think Rybakina is going to catch her, which is insane because if Rybakina wins 2 matches, then 3 players are 20 points difference, and that's really close. Because that would mean, okay, so let's do the math. So Rybakina wins this match, wins this tournament. By the way, roof is shut. It's raining in Ningbo. So let's say Rybakina wins because she needs to win to put herself in a really good position. If she loses, she can still get there. But so if Rybakina wins, then next week she'll only have to win 2 matches, right? She'll have to get to the. She'll only have to win 1 match to overtake Andreeva, right? Maybe. I think. And Paolini will qualify anyway. Because Andreeva can't overtake Paolini, because Paolini's ahead of her now. I think, maybe. What are the points? Let me have a look. What are the points for a 500? So 500... What's this? 500 for... How many players are playing? 28 players playing in Tokyo. That's crazy. All right, so if you make it to the round of 16, you get 60 points. So Rybakina would just have to win 1 match, and she'd qualify. Imagine if that match was... Wait, hang on. What's the draw? Gene, you just sent me the draw. Ooh, I'll tell ya, Rybakina's draw is not good. She has to win 2 matches. Okay, her draw is not good. She's got to play Fernandez or Mboko second round, and then possibly Bencic or Andreescu. I mean, that is a nightmare draw. When you got to win 2 matches, that's insane. Mboko or Fernandez second round, and if you lose, you're not playing the WTA final. That's intense. That is intense. But first things first, she's got to win this. She's got to win this match, and she's got to win this title to get herself in the conversation. But imagine the Mboko rematch. That's like, and Rybakina has to win it. No matter what, she's going to have to win those matches next week anyway. But she'll just have to win a lot more matches next week if she loses this match. But who you got winning this one, chat? I'm going to go Rybakina in 3. I reckon she'll just sneak it out. And Paolini doesn't need to win this. You know, she's in a good position. If she loses this, she can still qualify. But, yeah. Could Alexandra Eala take key spot? No, because... No. Because Alexandra would be alternate number 2. So 2 players would have to withdraw. As Rybakina hits a winner, 30 love. I think Rybakina will just overpower Paolini in this one. It's indoors as well, so... Maybe advantage Rybakina. They haven't played since the WTA finals last year. So it's been a minute. But 3-2 in favor of Paolini. They're playing some epics over the time. Last year they played a couple of clay court epics where they split at 1-1, including the French Open quarterfinals. They played last year at the WTA finals. Paolini won that one in straights, but it was close. All right, 30 love. Rybakina forehand to the forehand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand again. Into the forehand of Paolini. It's Rybakina backhand on the stretch. Paolini cross-court forehand winner. 30-15. And I'll tell you why I love this matchup too. It's probably, at least in the top 10, it's like 2 players on totally opposite sides of the game styles, right? You got one player who's got a massive serve. That's her weapon. Her ground strokes are huge, but she doesn't have great movement. And then you've got somebody and she's one of the taller players on tour. And then you got probably the shortest player on tour. One of them, very scrappy, very fast, very good all-round game. Like, these 2 have like totally contrast. Like, they're total opposites, the way they play and the way they are in tennis. One's super, super quiet, like Ice Queen. One's fiery and likes to shout. There's been a fine win-up from Paolini. She's already throwing fists. All right, 30-0. Like, this is as different a match, like different players as you can get. Like, they are totally opposite types of players, which is so much fun. ATP match version of this match, probably Demonor versus Opelka? Maybe? Or maybe Demon or Fritz? Demon or Fritz might be or maybe like Baez Fritz. Or Baez Opelka? I don't know. I feel like Rybakina is more than just a... Opelka's not just a serve. He's got good ground serves. Maybe Baez versus... A Demon Fritz in the top 10 would probably be the closest, because Fritz is not much. He doesn't muck around too much. Like, he doesn't yell and scream too much. He's got a massive serve. Probably one of the best serves on tour. Yeah, probably Demon Fritz would be a good comparison for top 10. Or maybe Zverev. I mean, Zverev Fritz. Oh, sorry, Zverev Demon would maybe be a good comparison. Except Zverev's not as aggressive as Rybakina. Anyways, Paolini's got break point, 30-40. And then Rybakina hits a winner. And it's deuce. All right, we get the deuce. Who will win? I think Rybakina will win. Yeah, Zverev isn't as aggressive as... Fritz is probably more aggressive. So yeah, we'll go with Fritz versus Demon. Is the men's version of this match. All right. And Rybakina serves the fault. Second serve. And the return goes back and Rybakina. Paolini forehand into the back of Rybakina. As Paolini hits it out. All right, advantage. Advantage. Rybakina. And Rybakina holds. All right. First game of the match. If Rybakina loses today, she needs to make the final. Loses to Paolini today, she needs to make the final of Tokyo. Okay, fair enough. Is Mirra playing any other? No, Andreeva is not playing any other tournaments. You should go outside. It's a nice day in Melbourne. I did go outside. All right, they're just showing the race of the finals lineup, man. I'll tell you, it's a great lineup. Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, and Anisimova, Pegula, Keys, and then possibly two of three players. Paolini, Andreeva, Rybakina. I mean, I think if Rybakina doesn't make it, everybody else is 1/1000 or more, right? Everybody's got a 1000 level tournament or above, at least this year. Because Anisimova's got 2 1000s. Did Pegula win a 1000? No, Pegula hasn't got one. But Pegula's obviously so consistent, making finals so many times. That's why she's in. Key's got a Grand Slam. Paolini's got a 1000. Andreeva's got 2 1000s. Goff's got a slam. Swiatek's got a slam. Sabalenka's got a slam. Pegula's got one? Where? This year? Not this year. 15-0. As the return goes to the net. 30-15. What are the chances Mirra gets a wildcard to Tokyo? 0, because the draw's being done. So she can't get a wildcard now. Draw is done. Draw came out already. 30-15. The backhand goes in the forehand of Rybakina. Forehand of Paolini. Again, the forehand of Rybakina. And that goes in the net from Paolini. 30-0. So Rybakina doesn't make it to the finals. She is out at the... No, so if Rybakina loses today, she has to win the tournament next week. Or do well next week in Tokyo. So she's not out. So Rybakina is still alive even if she loses. But it just means next week she has to do more. Like way more. She has to win way more matches. And her draw is really tough. Like, it is a tough draw next week. Has to make the final in Tokyo there. There you go. 40-30. If she loses today, she'll have to make the final in Tokyo. Whereas I'm looking at Paolini's draw. Paolini's got a pretty good draw. Mukova versus Vondrousova again. That's crazy. Yeah, Paolini's draw is nicer, but it's not easy, but it's a lot better. She has like Wong or a qualifier in the second round, then possibly Mukova quarterfinals. And then Noskova, pardon me, Noskova or Alexandrova in the semis. Whereas Rybakina's got Mboko or Fernandez second round, Bencic, Andreescu possibly quarterfinal, then Schneider or Towson in the semis. So, yeah, Rybakina's draw is way worse. Way worse. So she needs to win this tournament. Just to give us, to make next week a little bit easier for her, at least pressure-wise, right? Having to win 2 matches instead of winning 4, whatever it is a lot nicer. Advantage Paolini. To take the first game of the match. It looks like Mirra will not be in the WTA finals. She probably, as Paolini gets the game 1-1. I mean, Andreeva could still qualify, right? She's still in number 8 spot, but she's left it up to chance, right? So she is not, which again I think is so mind blowing. Unless her and her coaches know something we don't. Why would it would be like if I'll do ATP equivalent, just so everybody can understand if you don't watch WTA. It would be like if FAA didn't play Paris when he was 100 points, like or Musetti, right? Let's say Musetti was 100 points in front of FAA, but then said, "I'm not playing Paris," and FAA played Paris, and you're just like, "Wait, so you're leaving it up to chance?" Like, so if Felix makes a good run in Paris, you're out. Why wouldn't you just go play? At least then that way you can try and qualify with your own racket instead of waiting for other people to lose and you hopefully get in, right? But it's probably even worse than that because it's way closer than that. And also, why would you not play Paris? No, Andreeva's not playing Tokyo. The draw, she's not in the draw. She is not playing Tokyo. Unless she's playing the other tournament. Is she playing the other one? I don't think she is. Is she playing in Zhao? No. She might get... I'll tell you what, though. It wouldn't be the worst idea if she just jumped in there because everybody... I mean, it could be the worst idea ever if she loses, but the draw... I mean, the top player there is 40 in the world, so it would be an easy event if she did play, but isn't there a rule for top 10 players playing 250s, though? I think there's a rule. I'm pretty sure there's a rule. They're only allowed to play like 1 or 2. Or no, it's only 1 top 10 player per 250, isn't it? So she could play. There's no top 10 players playing. We're back in her ace, 2-1. But yeah, it just seems, again, unless she's injured or she knows something that we don't, like that somebody's not going to qualify or somebody's not going to play because of injury. Like Anisimova's got an injury. Keys has got an injury, right? We haven't seen Keys since the US Open. So they must be confident enough to know that, somebody's withdrawing to not try and play. Because even if she played next week and lost, at least that, again, the more I say it, the more I think she's probably thinking, she probably knows something that we don't. Because there's no way that her and her coaches, unless she was injured, I don't know if she was injured this week, but unless she was really injured and she doesn't want to risk getting hurt more. But even then, wouldn't you be like, well, I'm not you do everything you can to qualify. But she must know something we don't. She must know something that we don't. Because that's crazy to me. That's wild to just be like, I'm this close to the WTA finals, but I'm not going to go to the tournament and play for more to guarantee it. Like, That's insane to not do that. When you've never been to the WTA finals before. Keys will have much time to practice before the final. Yeah, but Keys hasn't played, so we don't know if Keys. That's the only thing is if is if Andreeva's team know that Keys is not playing or something, so that's why they're not playing next week. Yeah, and if that happens, then we all go, well, now we know why she didn't play because she knew that she was going to get in even if she didn't play. But again, super weird to leave it up to chance. Unless Andreeva has got some injury and she doesn't want to risk getting hurt more and is confident she'll get in anyway. I don't know. It just seems a bit too risky to me when the score, like if she was like 5 points away from qualifying, okay. And like let's say Rybakina had to win 2 tournaments in a row to get there, okay. Maybe leave it up to chance. But when it's like as close as it is, that seems risky as hell. Keys. So the reason I'm saying like, again, I'm totally speculating. I know nothing about what's going on with Madison Keys, right? But she hasn't played since the US Open, and she lost in the first round of the US Open. So we haven't seen Keys since the first round loss at the US Open, and she hasn't won a match since Cincinnati, third round in Cincinnati. So it's been a long time since Keys has played because of injury. So that's why I'm saying maybe Andreeva's not playing because she knows she's qualified. Because if you're number 9 and somebody pulls out, you qualify, right? Because number 5 pulls out or number 6 pulls out, then you take their spot, whatever, right? So that's the only reason that's the only way you could go to think that they're not playing because they know that Keys is not going to be there. And Anisimovan's got a calf injury, but I think she'll play. Keys is the only one that I have that I'm doubting because she hasn't played since the US Open. It's been a hell of a long time. Yeah, leg injury for Keys. Yeah. So she hasn't been playing. She hasn't played at all. So that's why I'm like, again, totally speculating. Is Andreeva not playing the next week because she knows she can qualify anyway because Keys is not going to play? Like that's, you know what I mean? Like that seems like the only explanation. Or she just is overconfident. Like, overconfident, thinking, we'll qualify, we don't have to play. And maybe she will, but that's still risky as hell. Especially if, like, next week she only had to play one match and win, and then she would have qualified. Like, that would have been, like, just to guarantee it. I don't know, chat. I'd rather, if I'm healthy, go play the tournaments to qualify rather than leaving it up to chance. But especially when it's your first WTA Finals chance to play. And things are so close. Like, just put it at, like, just make it a sure thing. Anyways, double fault Paolini, 40-30. But we'll see, because a lot still has to happen, right? Rybakina has to win this tournament to make it really interesting. And then we go into next week and we see what happens. 40-30. As the return goes in the backhand of Paolini. Paolini in the net, we get the deuce. Rybakina still has to do quite a lot. Yeah, so Rybakina still has to win this event and then have a run next week. But it's not like Rybakina has to win this week and next week, and it's not as unless Rybakina loses this match and then has to make the final next week. Still, it's not that, like, it's not, like, technically she has to win, like, what, 4 matches, right? 4 matches. If Rybakina wins the next 4 matches in a row, she will qualify. It's not that much, especially when she's a top 10 player and she should win the matches she plays next week as well, right? Advantage Rybakina. But we'll see. It'll all be very interesting. Now, if Paolini wins this, it'll be a massive favor for Andreeva. That'll help Andreeva a lot. All right. Advantage Rybakina. Let's get the break. Because, yeah, at this point, it's really between Rybakina and Andreeva who gets the final spot. As with a slice on the stretch, Into the forehand of Paolini. Paolini puts it away, and we get the deuce. Because Paolini overtook Andreeva by getting to this stage, and Paolini plays next week as well. So really, it really comes down to Rybakina or Andreeva, whoever finishes that 8th spot. All right, deuce. As the return goes out by Rybakina, advantage Paolini. Advantage Paolini. Do you know when Vienna and Basel draw is out? No. No, I do not. Probably tomorrow. I would guess tomorrow. Or tonight. Maybe tonight. Or today, sorry. Probably when we're watching the Six King Slam. Rybakina hits a lovely winner. Back to deuce. All right, deuce. As Rybakina looking at a second serve. Serving the back of Rybakina. Forehand from Paolini into the forehand of Rybakina. As Paolini forehand winner. Cross court winner. All right. Advantage Paolini. Advantage Paolini to level this match as with a forehand from Rybakina. That goes long. Paolini holds. Paolini holds. All right. Is the Basel field more top heavy than Vienna? I don't know. All right, so Basel has Fritz, Shelton, Runa, Rude, FAA, Lehechka, Menchik. And then Vienna's got Sinner, Zverev, Demonor, Musetti, Hashanov, Medvedev, Rublev, Bublik. I would say Vienna's got 5 top 10 players. Basel's got 2. So I'd say Vienna is more of a thing. All right, Rybakina, nice hitting. 15, love. 15, love. Now, I'm going to be honest, we'll probably only be watching Vienna next week. Unless Basel gets a couple of big clashes. But, where's Fons playing? Is Fons playing... I hope he's playing Vienna, because then we can just watch him as play Vienna. Is he playing Vienna, or is he playing... Oh, Burnett's playing in Switzerland. Ooh. Baby Fed. Anyways, drop shot. Winner by Paolini. It's 15-0. Baby Federer is playing as a wild card in Basel. Love that. So, okay, so it looks like Fons is playing in... Where the hell is Fonseca? Is he not playing next week? He's playing in Basel. I'm blind. All right. 15:30. Chance we're back into a break. All right, serve again. $15.30. And an ace down the tee from Rybakina. 30-all. Rybakina looks different because of her hair, right? Does she usually not have her hair tied up in a knot? Is that why she looks different? Yeah, she usually has a ponytail, right? Ah, okay, that's why she looks different. She's got like a big knot. She's like wrapped her hair up in a ball. All right, 30-40, break point for Paolini. She's now Bunkina. Yeah. Rybakina. Was it a fault? Second serve. So they're back in Paolini. 4 number backing up. Beautiful shot. Deuce. I said this, and I like Andreeva, but I feel like the best situation is if these two ladies make the WTA finals at Andreeva's expense. To be honest, because Keys hasn't played, and maybe she doesn't play, Andreeva coming in wouldn't be a bad thing because at least she's healthy. You don't want to have injured players at the WTA finals if they're only going to play one match, right? But if Keys is healthy, I'd rather have these two players get in because they're in form. And Andreeva is going to play many WTA finals, right? Like she's going to play a lot of WTA finals in the future. But I think for 2025, at least the second, probably post French Open, Sabalenka, Swiatek, Gauff, Anisimova, Pegula, Paolini, Rybakina have been the best players. Keys and Andreeva, Keys hasn't played. Andreeva's not been playing well. Alexandra has been better than both of them in the last probably couple of months. As Rybakina holds 3-2. But I think Paolini, Rybakina in this year's final, especially because Paolini's 29, Rybakina 26. Who knows how many more finals they're going to qualify. Paolini making back-to-back WTA finals is huge. Because last year she had a great year. This year we're thinking, can she do it again? And she looks like she can. So we don't know how many more WTA finals Paolini's going to play. And I think right now Paolini is such a good, she's such a different player to everybody else in that draw. She is the counter-punching, fast player running around the courts, defensive type. And that would be great to see against Sabalenka and obviously great to see against Rybakina and stuff. I would love to. And Paolini played really well against Swiatek, right? I think she is the player. She's got a 1,000 this year. She beat Gauff. She's beaten so many of those big names. She's definitely one of the best players on the planet. And she can beat those players, which is what we want to watch, right? We don't want to see, two players dominate like on the men's side. We want to see, Paolini and the lower ranked players in the top 10 be competitive, and they are. Because even though Andreeva at the start of the year was great, but she's obviously not been great lately. But then the thing is Andreeva going to be able to get up for the matches where they're against big names? She's been struggling against the lower ranked players. But when she plays the big guns, maybe that's when she brings her best. So maybe if she does qualify, she'll be playing, her best tennis. Kind of like Krejcikova last year. Remember Krejcikova last year? She gets in, and we're all like, oh, well, she's not going to do anything. And then she made the semis. And she beat Swiatek, and we're like, okay. Sorry, no, she didn't beat Swiatek. She beat Coco. And we're like, okay, yeah, okay. Big four Barbara. Maybe that's what Andreeva's going to do. Maybe she'll come into the WTA finals not having played well against the lower ranked players and then just start beating up the top 10. All right, 3-2. Valentova is fast rising star. Yeah, is she winning? Or did Valentova win? Oh, she's into a third. So Fernandez is into the final of Osaka, and Valentova is. See, this is the thing, chap. People have such short memories. All the people that were giving shit to Eala in the first round against Valentova, and now Valentova is about to make the final. I feel like people are so harsh on so harsh on players, you know. Even Raducanu, like, she lost to Zhu, and then Zhu beat Andreeva. So, like, how bad was the loss for Raducanu? Not that bad, especially when she was injured, because Zhu went on to win against Andreeva and nearly beat Schneider. But, like, all the people that were shitting on Raducanu when she was, like, you know, not playing well, or not able to finish the match properly because she was injured and she was, you know, she wasn't 100%. All those people are going to not even know that Zhu then beat Andreeva and go, oh, well, maybe Raducanu wasn't that bad in that match. Maybe Zhu was really good. All right, Paolini holds 3-0. But same with Valentova. Like, she makes the final, and then all the people that were like, oh, Eala sucks. What, she sucks because she lost first round to the player who made the final? Like, that's not true. Valentova, by the way, we know she's tough because she almost got a set off Rybakina at the US Open, so we know how good she could be. I'm a fan. Valentova, I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I like the way she goes about it. I like her fighting energy. And I like that she celebrates every point. I love that. I love it how vocal she is. All right, 3-all. There's a forehand from Rybakina to the forehand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand to the forehand of Paolini. And the forehand of Rybakina. Rybakina hits it long. And it's love 15. Valentova kind of has that Paolini kind of vibe. She just hits a lot bigger. Bigger hitting version, but definitely similar energy. And only 18, she just got started. So that's fun. All right, Paolini in the net in the return, 15-all. 15-all. We're going to fault second serve. There's a return. Goes out by Paolini, 30-15. There's a little drop shot from Paolini. Rybakina's going to get there. Paolini with a backhand lob. Too good. Great lob by Paolini. 30-all. Beautiful lob. All right, 30-all. And then Rybakina serves an ace. That is clutch. 40-30. All right, first serve was a fault, second serve. As Paolini forehand goes out. Rybakina leads. All right, 4-3. It's a very high level match so far. Very competitive match so far. All right. Yeah, this is as close as the score suggests. Yeah, it has been very close. Does the third place winner get any trophy? What's the upside of being when both players get the same amount of money in the end? I don't know. I think third place is kind of useless if it really doesn't mean anything, does it? It's there. It's yeah. You don't get anything for third place. There might be a rule though, and I don't know about this. I'm just totally guessing. But if you don't play all the matches, you might not get paid. So maybe like we're doing a third place, and if you want the 1.5 million participation fee, you have to play all the matches. Like if you withdraw, you don't get paid, right? So maybe it's like you're not getting any extra money from third place, but if you don't play, you don't get paid. So you're kind of playing the extra match for the 1.5. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just part of the deal. Maybe you don't get paid if you withdraw. Because you're right, it seems kind of redundant to have a third place match when it's got literally nothing on the line. Like nothing changes. You don't get extra money. You don't get anything. I mean, you finish third, right? I mean, you don't get a trophy. You don't get a prize for third. You don't even get a prize for second. 15 love. And Rybakina is a return winner. 15-0. $15-all. As a return winner again by Rybakina. 15-30. 15-30. It pays more than the winning a semi-final of the Grand Slam. Nobody should be complaining. Yeah. Anyways, 15-30. As the return goes back in of Paolini, forehand of Rybakina into the net. It's 30-all. 30-all. As Paolini serves into the forehand of Rybakina. And Rybakina hits it long. And it's 40-30. And Chad, see, the thing is, and this is just something interesting, right? Like, maybe, I don't even know if it's, this is just something to think about. The matches tonight, especially the third place playoff, it's a $1.5 million, you're getting that anyway. Nothing on the line, proper exhibition, right? Between Fritz and Djokovic. This match, Rybakina Paolini, the stakes are so high. The winner of this puts themselves in a good position to qualify for the WTA finals, which obviously is worth more ranking points, worth more prize money at that tournament, right? But the winner of this will only get, and I say only, but like in comparison to the 1.5 million just for showing up, the winner of this, if I can find it, I don't even know if they've announced the prize money. Where the hell's the prize money? Yeah, the winner of this will get a fraction of that. Because the winner of this will get a share of $1 million. So the whole prize pool is $1 million. So the winner doesn't get $1 million, I don't think. The whole tournament prize is $1 million. So it's split up. So you would say the winner probably gets, I don't know, maybe 300,000, maybe a third of that goes to the winner, maybe. But again, I've just got to find if there's it doesn't tell me. It doesn't tell me exactly. Hang on. So the whole tournament's worth $1 million. Here we go. The champion gets 164,000. That's like a tenth of what the players are going to get for just showing up and playing an exhibition. But the stakes on this match are so much higher, right? This is such a much more important match than the Djokovic-Fritz match later. So I guess the question is, I know the prize money is important, but like, what is more important, right? Is qualifying for the WTA finals more important, or is a $1.5 million paycheck more important for Fritz? You know what I mean? Peanuts in comparison? Yeah. But also, this feels way more important, right? This has way more gravity to who wins this. This is a much more important match than tonight's match between Djokovic and Fritz. That's worth zero. I mean, it's not worth anything. You get no points. You get no extra prize money if you win or lose, right? So I guess it probably depends on you as a person, like as in like, you know, individually. Is prize money is money more important, winning millions of dollars, or is the ranking and possibly qualifying for a big tournament at the end of the year more important? Now you can say both, because it is both, right? Players need the prize money to then be able to play the tournaments to get qualifying to those, you know, it all kind of goes together. But like, there was players that we thought, why aren't they playing that one? You know, why weren't they playing in Saudi? And they went and played a 250 instead because they need the points, right? We don't know if they denied playing that tournament, but you know, there was probably players like Medvedev or maybe who was it, Musetti? You know, those players might have gone. You know what? I want to play Turin, so I need to go play this tournament to qualify. I can't go and play this exhibition for prize money. I need to qualify for Turin. Right? I'm sure players have chose that option. Anyways, deuce. There's a bit of return now. Into the forehand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand to the forehand of Paolini. Into the back of Rybakina. Rybakina hits it out. Advantage Paolini to get level in the first, sorry. Looks like the last three tournaments Eala's lost has happened to the eventual champion. I know, right? So tell that to the people that come into the Eala matches and bitch and moan about her and say that she's not good. It's like, okay, she's not good, but she keeps losing to the winners? Okay. Maybe she just gets tough draws. Maybe she just got a tough matchups. Rybakina into winner, back to deuce. What's up, Malcap? Are you going to watch Davis Cup later? Yeah. We'll probably watch Davis Cup at the end of the year. Hopefully Sinner and Alcaraz play it. We'll watch them. All right. Deuce again. Very important games. I tell you, Rybakina is definitely having a better time on serve. It feels like Paolini is working a lot harder to try and win her game. A lot more deuce. A lot more points being played on her serve. As the return goes in the slice. Oh, Paolini in the net. Advantage Rybakina. Norway doesn't play Turin. Who do you see making the ATP finals versus who do you want to make the finals? Good question. I want Rune to make the final. And that's not just saying that because you're here. I would want Rune to make the final, to ATP finals. I think he would make a very interesting competitor. As that goes up into the sky from Rybakina. Paolini puts away the smash. We're back to deuce. Felix is in a better position, but I would rather Rune overtake Felix. Felix is 500 points ahead, or 400 points ahead, but I would rather Rune than Felix. Because I think Rune versus Sinner and Alcaraz, I still want to see that. I still want to... By the way, Rune could still qualify, right? No. Oh, maybe. Because Djokovic and... Oh, no, number 10 wouldn't cut it. Anyways, advantage Rybakina. Yeah, I'd rather see Rune play Alcaraz and Sinner than FAA. Even though Felix did well against Sinner at the US Open, I'd still rather see Rune. Because we just don't... How many... I mean, right? Every tournament we see Rune in these tournaments, we're like, oh, he's going to play, and then he doesn't, right? At least at the ATP finals, he will be guaranteed to play those guys. He won't have to, lose to Vacheroy to avoid, to not play Djokovic, right? He has to play them first straight away. So I want Rune. I want Rune to make the finals. But I think Felix will make the finals because Felix is just physically he seems fitter, so he's probably going to be able to and he's 400 points ahead. I mean, Rune's going to have to either win next week or play well in Paris, and he can. But Felix is also really good on indoor courts as well. So I would say it's probably going to be Felix. I mean, Musetti should be okay if he plays the next couple of weeks, but yeah, I'd rather see Rune qualify because I just want to see those Rune versus Alcaraz Sinner matches. But it will probably be Felix because he's ahead. All right, advantage Rybakina as Paolini serves a let. She serves a fault. Second serve. Backhand return. Into the backhand of Paolini. 400 Rybakina. Is a winner. Okay, there's the break. Rybakina gets it. 5-3. She's going to serve at the set. What about Ben? Because he's not playing these tournaments. He should qualify. Shelton should be fine. Yeah, Shelton should qualify. It would be pretty crazy if he didn't. Him and Fritz are basically the same, like almost the same points. So if they both if one of them missed out, that'd be crazy to see. Like Fritz and Shelton are both in a similar position. I thought Shelton was playing next week. Didn't I read that out? Yeah, Shelton and Fritz are playing in Basel next week. They're not playing this week because it's not... I mean, Fritz is not here and Shelton probably wants an extra week off, but... yeah, they're both playing next week. 400 rally. Oh, Paolini whips a forehand win across court. Love 15. Love 15. Oh, Valentova is 4-2 up in the third against Christian. All right, backing up. 15-all, great serve. $15-all. Shelton didn't look healthy in Shanghai. Didn't he just lose in the first match? How can you tell? Based off one match. He only played one match. Maybe he was rusty. He lost first match. What was it? Who did he lose to? He lost to someone decent too, right? He lost to Goffin, who is like scary as hell. I don't know. Maybe he didn't look good, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be basing Shelton's level of fitness off a loss to Goffin. But we'll watch. Hopefully, we'll keep an eye on Shelton next week, because next week will be telling. If he loses next week and the week after, then that's bad, right? But I think one match after not playing for a while, because it was his first match since the US Open. So you gotta say what, maybe a little bit of rust. But I didn't watch the whole match. 30-0. There's a bit of fault from Rybakina, second serve. Paolini returns it back to Rybakina. Paolini down the line to the forehand of Rybakina. Into the forehand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand goes long. 30-40, break back point. For Paolini to get back on serve. $30-40. There's a backhand winner there by Rybakina. Whew. All right, deuce. And Rybakina serves an ace. And it's advantage Rybakina to take the first set. Advantage Rybakina. As Paolini returns to the forehand of Rybakina. Paolini into the backhand of Rybakina. It's Paolini backhand again, the backhand of Rybakina. To the backhand of Paolini. Rybakina again to the backhand of Paolini. And Paolini in the net. Rybakina takes the first set, 6-3. 6-3. Rybakina. All right. By the way, chat, I'm almost finished. I'm shocked at my ability to read. I've almost finished a book for the first time in, I want to say, 10 years. The last book I remember reading from start to finish was that American Sniper book. What was it? Who was the guy called? Chris, what was his name? Chris Kyle. I read his book from start to finish. That was the last time I think I can remember reading a book. A whole book. With no pictures. Yeah, this one. It's great. See, look. I'm almost at the end of the book. And then I got this book today. His first biographies. I'm going to read this next. This has got pictures in it, though. What am I up to? I'm up to page 297. By the way, really good book if you like, biographies. And if you like rock and roll. Was it a ghostwriter or did Ozzy write himself? Definitely in his words. I'm not sure if it was a ghostwriter, but you read it and it sounds like him. Like, it doesn't sound like somebody wrote it on his behalf. It definitely sounds... Whoever wrote it wrote down what he said exactly. So if it was a ghostwriter, it definitely has his... It definitely has his words. Like if I read one part to you here, ready? If we're gonna get demonetized. Anyways, love 15. I can't read this book out loud. Yeah, I'm not gonna read any of it, but you should read it. 15 all. And Paolini serves. In the front of Rybakina. Paolini forehand down the line. Rybakina backhand lob. Paolini comes in with a smash. Puts it away. 30-15. All right, serve again. And Paolini comes to the net, puts it away, 40-15. As the return goes in the backhand of... Sorry, in the forehand of Rybakina. As backhand Paolini. Rybakina comes to the net with a volley. But it's in the net. One love Paolini in the second. Is Paolini definitely out of the WTA finals if she loses? No. Paolini's in the WTA finals. More than likely. Win or lose. All right, 1-0. Paolini in the second. Winner of this will take on either Schneider or Alexandrova. In the final. But they're going to play after this. All right, 15 love. All right. 30 love. And Rybakina serves again. She double faults Rybakina and it's 30-15. Not really. If Rybakina wins this tournament, then basically are tied on points, Andreeva can knock Paolini out of the race. Andreeva's not... Hang on. How? Where did you come up with that number? Because you might not be looking at the live rankings and not be knowing what's going on. That's okay. That's why I'm here. How does Andreeva knock Paolini out if Paolini's ahead of Andreeva and Andreeva's not playing next week? There's no way Andreeva can knock Paolini out. Because Paolini is 5 points ahead of Andreeva and Andreeva's not playing next week. So there's no way that Andreeva can overtake Paolini if she doesn't play. Right? So I can't see Paolini not making the finals even if she loses this match. Because she's not playing next week. She can get a wild card. Well, she didn't because the draw's already come out. So she doesn't have a wild card. She can't get a wild card because the draw's already out. Like, they're not going to redo the draw. Because the draw's already out. Unless she does get to, unless she gets a wild card into the China tournament. But at this stage, there's no word that she has. That's the only way she can play next week is if she gets a wild card to the other tournament. But yeah, no, Andreeva is not playing next week. She's not going to get a wild card because the draw's already come out for Tokyo, so she's missed that boat. So there's no way she can overtake anyone if she doesn't play. And she can't get a wild card to Tokyo because Tokyo's already been drawn. She'll have to play qualies. To get to Tokyo, she has to play qualifiers. I don't even know if that's impossible. Maybe she can't do that either. Maybe that's why. But that's all right. Maybe you didn't know the draw was out. I didn't know the draw was out until like before this match. So you're right though. If the draw hadn't come out, then she could have got a wild card and played and blah blah blah. But she didn't choose that route. A while back, there were rumors that the ATP is a new Master 1000 Saudi in February slot. Is that true? Yeah, apparently it's going to happen. 30-15. Yeah, apparently Saudi Arabia to host a 1000 event in 2028. So February is seemingly the time, but I think they wanted to do it before the Australian Open, which would be terrible idea for the Australian Open to be terrible. But yeah. So they're trying to make a 1000 event in Saudi Arabia in 2028. And I wonder if the Six King Slam will be a thing if that happens, you know? The Six King Slam might disappear. Because why would they need a Six King Slam when they've got a 1000 event with all those players playing anyway for way less money? You know what I mean? They'll get them cheaper. The Six King Slam will not exist in 2028 if they get a 1000. Because they're paying so much a premium price to get these guys to come to Saudi. When it becomes mandatory, why would they pay them 1.5 million? They'd say, oh, you have to play our tournament anyway, so too bad. Valentova is in the final. Valentova is in the final. And Eala lost to her, so I would like everybody to apologize. Oh, wow. Christian is a very cold handshake. That was Christian with the no-look handshake, and Valentova is just like, all right, whatever. I like her already. I like Valentova already. People are already getting shitty at her because she likes to celebrate. I love that. And she's like, all right, well, I won, so you can get stuffed. Yeah, Christian didn't give her the nicest handshake. That was a quick handshake. A little shrug from Valentova. I don't mind that. All right. Valentova this week has become a channel favorite. She's already pissing people off. We love that. If there's another 1000, would Djokovic still have the Golden Masters? So the thing is, if there's another 1,000 event that comes up, basically everybody starts again. So nothing that happened in the past, Grand Slams included, gold medals at the Olympics, all of that gets scrapped and everybody has to start again because it's basically a new tour. So that means, no, he doesn't have the Golden Masters, just like nobody has won anything in the history of tennis before that. 2028 is a reset. Nothing counts before 2028. So basically, just scrap everything and we're going to restart. So that's just how it's going to be. No. It doesn't matter if he doesn't win it. Even if he retires next year or the year after, he doesn't have to win. If he's around that time, though, then maybe he can. But I don't think, if he doesn't win it, the Golden Master still counts. Because remember, back in like 2005, Hamburg was a 1,000. Djokovic didn't win Hamburg. But we don't consider Hamburg a 1,000 anymore, right? So, and players that won it before, won 1,000 before that didn't get the chance to play Shanghai. So, So, yeah, if you don't have the chance to play, we just will not. He'll still have a Golden Masters. But if he wins Saudi, that'd be pretty awesome. Just to add to it. But he doesn't have to win Saudi. She was complaining about Valendova taking medical time out before Christian was serving first set. Oh, okay. So that's why there was a bit of, what am I trying to say? Frosty handshake. That's where the frostiness came from. All right. Love 15, by the way. 2-1. Paolini in the second. All right, nice serve by Rybakina. 15-0. All right, first serve was a 4-second serve. So that means, okay, so the Six King Slam means that it'll be around next year and probably the year after. Or is it around next year and then they don't do 27 and then 28 they have a 1,000? So maybe next year they do another Six King Slam, but then the year after, when the license has been locked in, the tournament's locked in, they might go, you know what, we don't need to do this. We don't need to spend millions of dollars to get the best players on the planet to come here because in a year's time they're going to come here automatically because they have to, right? So maybe that's the... And I think wrapping it up with 3 Six King Slams would be good. I think 3 is a good number. 4 is just an awkward number. 3 is a nice trilogy of events, Anyways, backhand Paolini, open court. Oh, it's in the net though. It would have been a great backhand. She just couldn't get it high enough over the net. It's 40-15. The only chance Djokovic wouldn't even have a 1% chance of winning the tournament is retires. I'd retire just for that. Yeah, but even if he does retire before that tournament starts, he doesn't need to win that tournament to make he still has the Golden Masters. It doesn't because there's going to be events in the future that happen and don't happen and things are going to change in 50 years from now, right? 20, 30 years from now, things might look different. 1,000s change, maybe in 10 years' time, they decide instead of 2-week Masters, we're going to do 15 Masters in a year and do less, 1 week Masters, but rather than doing 2-week Masters that are, 10, big ones, we'll do 1 week Masters, but we'll have more of them. Maybe they go down that path in the future, right? That could be possible. They could cut all the Masters in half, but then double the amount of them. And Dubai could be a 1,000 for the men, or they make, Beijing goes 1,000 for the men. Maybe they have, maybe they have 12 1,000 events that are 1 week instead of, a bunch of 2 weeks, which I think would be better, personally. I think more 1,000s. Yeah, Rio might be a 1,000, right? But more 1,000s that are 1 week, but more of them would probably be. But don't make them all mandatory, because then nobody's going to be able to get everywhere. And a 1,000 on grass, right? I mean, maybe upgrade Queen's Club or something, right? Give a 1,000 on the grass or something, yeah. That feels like a better option than the 2-week 1,000s, which don't really feel like Grand Slams, like they would hope they would. They just feel a little bit long and not as high. Like last week, Shanghai didn't have a top 10 clash, right, for the entire week. And Grand Slams, we have the best players on the planet playing quarterfinals, semifinals, finals sometimes, right? So you don't want, if 2-week Masters is supposed to be a mini Grand Slam, but we're not getting the matches that we would get at a Slam, then what's the point, Yeah, maybe not Queen's Club. Queen's Club's too small. But like I said, a 1,000 on grass. Who cares? I don't know where, but anyways, love 30. Rybakina trying to get this break in the second. Remember, Rybakina has to win this tournament to give herself the best chance of being in the WTA finals. If she loses, she can still make the finals, but it's just going to be a lot harder. Love 30. 7 in the back of Rybakina. Back into Paolini sliced in the net. Love 40. Love 40. Love 40. 7 to the forehand. Rybakina return the forehand to Paolini. Rybakina forehand is long. 15-40. 15-40. 15-40. Good serve down the tee. Return goes wide by Rybakina, 30-40. All right, 30-40. And we're going to fault from Paolini, second serve. And the return goes in the back of Paolini. Backing out from Rybakina. Goes long. We get the deuce. All right. Rybakina cannot break yet. Deuce. How many points would Rybakina have if she wins this tournament? So if she wins this tournament, she will be 5 points. Sorry, I think it's 15 points behind Andreeva. So I'll give you the numbers in a second. 400 rally. As it goes out by Paolini, advantage Rybakina. So Rybakina, if she wins, will be on 4,305 points. Andreeva will be on 4,320 points. And Paolini will be on 4,325. So Paolini's 5 points ahead of Andreeva. And Andreeva would be 15 points ahead of Rybakina. Which means going into next week, Rybakina would have to win 2 matches, because I think you get 10 points for the first match, and then you would get 100 points for the second match to qualify, to overtake Andreeva and qualify. Backhand return is too strong by Rybakina. There's the break. But remember, Rybakina still has to play tomorrow if she wins this match. She has to play tomorrow. And tomorrow she's going to have to play probably Alexandrova, who's been in very good form and is very dangerous. So it's not going to be, this is not the final. She still has to win the title. All right. 3-2. All right. But we're backing up. She is 3 games away from the final. It's Fernandez versus Valentova in the final of Osaka. Yeah, it is. This is the last match. Yeah, we're going to watch the Six King Slam in like a million hours, in 10 hours or something. Wait, 8 hours? No. It's 7:30 in my time. Yeah, like 8 hours. We're watching the men's exhibition event in Saudi in a couple of, like, you know. So we're going to watch that, but yeah, this is the last match of for now. All right, we're backing up. We're setting a break. She will try and keep it going. First serve is a fault. Second serve. As Rybakina backhand rally now to the forehand of Rybakina. Rybakina in the net. 15. I love 15. All right, nice serve. 15-0. All right, 30-15. And then a backhand rally. And then Rybakina smacks a backhand down the line. 40-15. 40-15. All right. First serve to fault, second serve. Serve to the backhand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand to the forehand of Paolini. Paolini hits a winner down the line. Nice. 40-30. $40-30. And the return goes into the forehand of Rybakina. Backhand of Paolini. Into the backhand of Rybakina. Paolini forehand to the forehand of Rybakina. And the forehand of Paolini. Rybakina forehand again. Paolini hits it in the net. 4-2. Rybakina. 4-2. Rybakina loses in the final. How many games we should win in Tokyo? Good question. Good question. So if she loses in the final, she'll be 190 points behind. So I'm guessing she'll have to make the semis. Because if she makes the semis in Tokyo... Oh, but there's... How many tournaments has she played? Because remember, there's also that she'll also lose points. Ooh, actually. Yeah, that she might have to win the tournament in Tokyo. Because the problem that she's got is she's played so many tournaments and she's done well outside the 1000s and slams. Unfortunately, she didn't do well at the slams. So the 1000s. She lost in the round of 32 3 times. She can't replace those scores. But then her best 7 other tournaments, she made the semi-final, quarterfinals or better at those 500s and 250s. So that means she'll have to probably win the title in Tokyo, maybe. Let me double check. To replace one of those scores, but then when they replace, she's going to drop off. They're going to drop off. She has 150 points, but that'll get replaced by this tournament. Or is this the tournament that's... Yeah, so the United Cup, 150 points will drop off, and then she will replace that with this tournament. That's where things get weird, because... Just having a look here. Semi-finals. Yeah, so does the live ranking count the replacement of points? This tournament is added. It won't add because only 7 tournaments outside the 1000s count. And she's played more than 7 outside the main 1000s, because there's 6 mandatory 1000s. 30-40 double break on the cards. So yeah, that's where it gets really weird, because if she does win this tournament, it's going to have to replace something, and then those points are going to fall off. So she might not make the full 500. She might make 500 and lose 150. You know what I mean? Rybakina to win up 5-2. But yeah, if she makes the final, she'll get 325 points, which will replace a 150. So she'll probably need to make the final again in Tokyo. So yeah, I know it's very confusing. I'm confused too. Because again, I don't know if the live rankings have already deducted her point. Oh no, she's only... Okay, maybe they have, because she's only made 87 points this week. So maybe it does, and Paolini's got 194 points. Because Paolini's only got a 10-pointer that she has to replace. So that makes sense. So the live rankings are fine. They're showing the right thing. So yeah, so it's not as simple as... It's not simple math. You know what? Ask me that question on Monday. Let's just leave all these questions till Monday. Let's wait until Monday, and then I'll give you the right answer. All right. Five-2. Rybakina serving for a place in the final. Why is WTA so confusing? ATP has the same rules, a similar way of doing things, but we're just not at the point of the season yet where we're waiting for players to lose points and stuff like that. But the ATP is has the same thing. You can only certain amount of tournaments. So 7. It has the same thing. 7 best other tournaments. So for someone like Demonor, he's going to start having to replace tournaments that he didn't do as well at with the points that he's going to win in the future. So it's the same thing. That's where FAA is going to have a really tough time to qualify, because a lot of the tournaments, as Paolini comes in with a forehand to the backhand, Rybakina lob goes up and in the net, love 15. Because FAA, he hasn't done great at the 1000s or the slams except for the US Open, but he has done great outside of the slams and the 1000s. However, besides Paris, next week, he's going to probably have to make the semifinals for any of those points to make a difference, which is good for Rune, because Rune, he hasn't done great outside of the like in the 500s and 250s. So Rune, his worst result at his best other tournaments is 10 points. So Rune, if he does really well next week, he's replacing 10 points, whereas FAA is replacing 100 points. I know it's very confusing, but that's good for Rune. Because FAA has a lot more points. Like he has to do a lot more to replace his results, because we're at that point in the season where, only 19 tournaments count. But if you play 22, then there's 3 tournaments that are going to drop off, right? Your worst tournaments. But then again, if you 1000s, they're going to count no matter what. So yeah, we're going to just get a math degree to do that. Love 30. As the backhand goes in from Rybakina to the backhand of Paolini. Rybakina backhand to the forehand of Paolini. Into the back of Rybakina. Paolini forehand on the stretch. Rybakina down the line in the net. Love 40. A chance to take one of the breaks back. Love 40. Love 40. But thanks for hanging out. This has been a very chilled stream, but also a very important match. That's why we're watching this, because this match has got a lot of significance for the WTA finals. Like, these two players could qualify. One of them could miss out based on this result, right? I'm going to say one of them. I mean, Rybakina could miss out based on this result if she did go on to lose this match. So this has been a very important match. Plus, they could play again at the WTA finals. They would probably... I mean, Paolini could make it... could overtake, I guess... She could overtake Keys, and then they play each other in the group stage. If Rybakina's 8 and Paolini's 6, they could play each other in the group stage. But yeah, this could be a preview into what... they might play each other again in a couple weeks. And the way that Rybakina's played, Paolini's going to have to do some work. 30-40. There's the backhand. Goes the backhand of Rybakina, backhand of Paolini. Into the backhand of Rybakina. Paolini forehand cross court. Rybakina gets it. As Paolini forehand down the line. Rybakina's got that on the stretch. Paolini forehand goes down the middle. Rybakina backhand, forehand to the forehand of Paolini to the forehand of Rybakina. As Paolini forehand down the line. Rybakina slice. Paolini backhand. Rybakina guesses right. Goes straight down the middle. And then Paolini in the net. Good rally from Rybakina. Deuce. All right, we get the deuce. Two points away from a pretty big win as well for Rybakina. I mean, to beat Paolini, who she has struggled with over the last couple of years, to just dominate. Andreeva withdrew from Tokyo. No, she didn't even play. She didn't even decide to play. You can't withdraw if you're not in the tournament. As with a serve. Double fold, all right? Paolini to get one of the breaks back. Advantage Paolini. As with a forehand from Rybakina is a winner. We get back to deuce. All right. As it a 4-4 rally. Rybakina goes to 4 Paolini. Paolini hits a wide. Match point. Match point for Rybakina to keep her WTA Finals hopes alive and to score a big win over someone who she has struggled with in the past. Advantage Rybakina. Serving to the forehand Paolini, return the backhand of Rybakina. Paolini backhand goes wide. All right. WTA Finals is getting real interesting. Rybakina wins in a must-win match. Paolini still in a good position to qualify for the WTA Finals, but Rybakina, huge win for her. And if she can win this title tomorrow, Andreeva, Paolini, Rybakina are going to be all in a row. Now remember, Andreeva is not playing in Tokyo, but I don't know if she's playing the other event either. So again, it's really down to who plays better between Rybakina and Paolini next week, as to who, I guess, qualifies, but also who where the standings are, where do these players finish in the race to the finals. But Andreeva has left it up to chance. By the way, again, Andreeva didn't withdraw from Tokyo. She didn't enter Tokyo. That's different. It's a difference. She didn't enter she didn't go in the draw. She didn't say, I'm playing Tokyo. She didn't ask them if she could play. She didn't apply to play. So there's a total difference between withdrawing. Had she have said, hey, I'm playing, and then said, actually, no, I'm not playing, that's different. That's what withdrawing is, when you actually are supposed to be playing the tournament. Andreeva was never supposed to play Tokyo. So but it's still weird that she didn't at least ask for a wild card. But she could ask for a wild card unless they've put the draw out in the last hour. The wild cards are being given out though in Guangzhou. So I don't know how she's going to get into that tournament. Unless she gets, I think there's a special exempt wild card, which is given to some people for some reason. But the normal wild cards have been given out. Sloane Stephens is playing. A bunch of Chinese players have been given a wild card. So, again, I think Andreeva is just leaving it up to fate. And it's really coming down to Rybakina. If Rybakina can do well next week, Andreeva's going to miss out. Andreeva can't play a 125 because players in the top 20 can't play challenges. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's the rule, right? If you're in the top 20, you can't play challenges. So she can't play a 125 because she is in too high ranked. I'm pretty sure. At least there was a rule for that. Her team didn't do the math. Again, we said this at the start of the stream. Either they just didn't calculate. They didn't realize that that she could miss out and they miscalculated, or they know something that we don't. Right? So they know that someone's going to not play the WTA Finals, like Keys, for example, who's had an injury since the US Open. Maybe they know, hey, this lady's not going to play, so we can take number 9 is okay. That's the only, or they don't think that Rybakina is going to qualify and overtake her because there's still a bit of a gap. Rybakina still has to win this tournament and then next week have to play well too. So maybe they're just confident that Rybakina is not going to kick out Andreeva. But again, we'll find out next week. Or we'll find out tomorrow, because if Rybakina loses tomorrow, which is a possibility because Alexandra is and Schneider are they're no slouch. They can both win. against Rybakina. So, yeah. But it's very interesting. We're coming down to the final week of the WTA season to find out who's going to qualify. Paolini hasn't qualified yet either. But I don't think she will miss out. Unless she loses points for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure how Paolini doesn't make it, but we'll find out, I guess, tomorrow or the next day if there's a different situation. I'll tell you, though, what about this, though? Couldn't... maybe it's not possible, but couldn't Andreeva go play Hong Kong? Or does it have to be the rankings as of the Monday when Hong Kong starts? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the rankings of like whatever it is. The rankings on the 27th of October are what determine the WTA finals. Maybe that's the cutoff. Because I was going to say, why doesn't Andreeva, if she's 5 points behind, let's say Paolini plays next week, loses first round, Andreeva could go play Hong Kong, win 2 matches or 3 matches, and then like on a Thursday ditch and then go to Saudi. But I don't. Is it? I think it's the rankings as of the Monday. It must be right. Because I was thinking, like, she's only 5 points behind right now. So the reason why Andreeva can't play Hong Kong and win that is because the WTA finals start on Saturday when the Hong Kong semifinals are starting. But again, maybe I think so. The last week of the season doesn't count towards the WTA finals. So the last week of we established this earlier, so you must have not been here. But next week is effectively the last week you can get points for the WTA finals, as far as we know. Unless if Andreeva gets a wild card to Tokyo or something, Hong Kong, then we know that maybe there's more. But yeah, the last week of the season. Like that last week with the 250s, there's no way. So David, I know you're like going to get like all up in arms, but there's no way that Andreeva can win in Hong Kong on a Sunday and still play the WTA finals the day before on a Saturday. She's not going to be able to play the WTA finals if she plays that tournament. So I think the WTA race of the finals cuts off at the end of, like, this time next week. That's it. So next week's the last week you can get points, effectively. Because otherwise, there's no way she can play. Unless she plays, like, to the quarterfinals, then ditches, and then goes to Saudi. But I don't know, because the rankings are on Monday, the official rankings, whereas the live rankings might show she's in front, but the official rankings will come out when the finals already started, so they're not going to be able to do it. It's kind of silly they have that last week, but that's not for players for the WTA finals shouldn't be there anyway. They should have qualified already, right? So yeah, it's a little bit messy, but yeah. So again, next week is the final week of the WTA season for the top 10, I guess. And then everyone's going to Saudi if they qualify. Or if they're an alternate. I mean, Andreeva still could go to Saudi. She might be an alternate, though. Yeah, next week is basically the final week. Exactly. It's kind of like the ATP finals as well, right? There's a tournament after Paris, but Paris is the final week, you know? Keys might pull out. Well, that's the thing, right? We've been speculating that maybe Andreeva's camp know that Keys is not healthy and Keys might not play. So that's why they're not playing next week, because they know that, well, if Keys doesn't play, they don't have to finish 8th. You can be number 9 and you'll qualify. So maybe that's why they're not playing next week. Maybe they know something we don't. And if Keys does withdraw next week, then we know that the Andreeva camp must have known something. And then I wonder if Paolini and Rybakina, if next week they are playing, and then if Keys did pull out, if they're going to keep playing, because why would they? If they qualify, why would they play? Like if Paolini qualifies next, like Tuesday next week, why would she play? She'd just go straight to the next thing, right? But I love that we're having these conversations. That's what makes this so much fun. I love that it's coming down to the final week. Like, it's so much fun. that there's 3 players and 2 spots up for grabs, and we're trying to figure out who has to do what. First thing though, Rybakina has to win tomorrow. She has to win tomorrow, and if she wins tomorrow, then we can start doing the math properly and figure out, okay, well, this person has to do this, and this person has to do that, and this person needs the other people to lose, right? So it's going to be Monday. We're going to have a lot of we're going to break out the calculators. Yeah, Rybakina's got to play Fernandez or Mboko in the second round of Tokyo. Terrible draw. Terrible draw. Andreeva's playing the finals of the WTA, or doubles finals in WTA anyway, so she'll be there. Yeah, but that's it. As an alternate, or and a doubles player, or as both. Paolini the same though. Paolini's going to be in the doubles too. So, does Rybakina have an edge over Jasmine in the WTA finals? Not in the race of the finals, no. If she wins tomorrow, she will be still behind, but only by a couple of, by 20 points. Why do Andrew sound like an AI? Does anyone else read Andrew's text and just go like, did you just copy that off Google? Like, it just seems like an AI answer. Like, hey, hey Google, can you please tell me what is the situation with Rybakina and Paolini? Rybakina versus Paolini are both in contention in the tournaments like Ningbo, with Paolini needing big wins to secure the spots. Mirra Andreeva is rising fast, ranked number 7 currently. They've only met twice. It sounds like a robot, right? It sounds like a bot. It's definitely an AI answers, right? That's clearly. They're just way too it makes sense. We figured it out. So we've got an Andrew bot. I appreciate the depth of that you're going into, but yeah. Appreciate it. But definitely the answers sound botty. They've only met twice. Each has won once. You sound like my Alexa. The dashes are a classic AI tick, yeah. Amazon Andrew. He's definitely our resident bot. But hey, at least it's useful information. It could be worse. It could be somebody coming in here yelling and screaming about how terrible players are. So it could be worse. So Rybakina is safe? No. Rybakina still has to win. She still has to win tomorrow. At this stage, Rybakina favor Mboko to play. I think Fernandez is in a final tomorrow as well, so that's interesting. I wonder though, this would be the best case scenario for Rybakina. Fernandez wins tomorrow and then withdraws, and then whoever Mboko is supposed to play beats her, and then qualify her in the second round for Rybakina. Pardon me. That would be the best case scenario for Rybakina, and that could happen, right? Because Fernandez might win tomorrow in a tough 3-hour match, and then she might be like, oh, I'm not going to go play Tokyo. I just won a title, and then, play the week after him wherever she's going to play after that. And then give Mboko a lucky loser to play. Then the lucky loser beats Mboko, which could happen because Mboko hasn't been great. She's been injured. And then the lucky loser plays for Rybakina in the second round. All of that could happen. I don't think Fernandez is going to withdraw if she wins. No, I mean, look, unless the final's super intense and something happens, right? So there's Fernandez on Mboko is a winner plays Rybakina, but it's not a guarantee until we see what happens tomorrow. I mean, Rybakina, something could happen tomorrow with Rybakina. She could play a 4-hour match. I doubt she's going to withdraw next week if she needs to play, unless something serious happened. But yeah. We just got to take it day by day with this WTA race to the finals. It's like, if we think 3 days ahead, we're going to There's too many options. It's just too much going on. By the way, Rybakina's got a bye in the first round next week, so she doesn't have to play till Wednesday. So, all right. Well, I am out of here. But we're going to come back and watch the third place match between Fritz and Djokovic, and then we're watching the final of the $6 million slam. Is that what the 6 stands for? I know there's 6 players and they're like 6 kings, but is it 6 million? Is that what it stands for? Maybe the 6 million prize. The $6 million slam. Which it kind of is. Technically, I mean, you win $6 million if you win. So, jump over there. Talk amongst yourselves. We'll be back in a long time. We've got a lot of time. lot of time to kill between now and then. But Rybakina, very important win. She needed a win today to keep that WTA Finals dream alive. She has to win tomorrow as well to keep things going. But good win against Paolini. 3-2 is a very good win against somebody who she struggled with in the past. But Rybakina stays alive. I'll see you guys soon.